we are. This is the normal instant passive profits ClickBank hop link, okay? Now if we hit enter on that, it should take us right to instant passive profits. Now, one of the big things he's got here is a big old button that says email, right? So what's he doing? He's basically, every single time somebody wants to order, he's forcing people to opt in to his list, right? And now that's smart on the vendor side of things because he's building his list. But for us as affiliates who are driving traffic to him, right, we would rather not give away our list for free, so to speak. So what we did, I'll show you here. And before I do this, let me just quickly exit out of this to show you even more list building things that this gentleman is doing. So we'll close it. Oh, he seems to have gotten rid of his exit pop-up, so that's fine. But basically, that is one major difference, just that. Now take a look at this. Now if we go and we produce a sales letter link using the Instant Passive Profits campaign inside of AppCom, what we'll do here, we'll just do 0721 test 1. If we go ahead and click create link, okay, then what it does is it spits out our little tracking link. Just quickly open up a new tab here, paste it in, and now as you can see, it's a little bit different. No opt-in. So if you drive traffic to this from your list, you're not going to be giving away extra subscribers that you don't need to. Now, the other thing that we do through the system that has resulted in, I mean, this is a big one. This little trick right here that we do pretty much on every single product that we promote, this is the huge difference that this has actually won us affiliate competitions, okay? Just this one little trick that we're going to show you right now. Now, if we close this, you'll see that we've actually added an exit pop-up that goes to a discount, okay? Now, this discount is not one that he made publicly available. We actually poked around and we found it ourselves and we integrated it into the sales funnel ourselves. So really what this process does, what the whole AppCom system does, is it allows us to create a sales funnel that is more conducive for affiliate promotions and converts higher than what the vendor would have in place himself. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope you have gained a little bit of extra appreciation for how awesome this whole system is, because it really does help you make more money, and everybody who's used it so far has seen that.
So Corey, could you go back into AppCom really quickly and just show yourself, just pick out another one. I'm just seeing some questions people are asking about how do you promote it to a squeeze page, how do you promote it to the sales letter, you know, if you're buying solo ads, obviously I wanted to send it to a squeeze page. So could you, just maybe pick another campaign, whichever it may be, and just really quickly. And one thing to clear up everyone, and I've seen a lot of questions on all over the place about this, is every time you put in a tracking ID, that is literally a one-time use. It is unique for that campaign that you just associated it with. You can type in whatever you want. There's a couple special characters that it can't use, so we recommend using just letters and numbers. But otherwise, it's unique. So I see some people saying, "Hey, I did this yesterday, and I put in the same one today, and it said it wasn't allowed to be used." And that's because, yeah, it's unique, because when you start sending traffic to it, you click on the traffic logo there, or icon there, and then you can go and see what traffic is coming to that campaign and that tracking ID that you created. So Corey, if you would just run through creating it again, and then maybe even show an example of like taking it into the traffic area and how to plug it into the traffic channels there.
Absolutely, my pleasure. So what we'll do is we'll go back to core campaigns, okay, and then we'll go to instant passive profits again. Why not? We'll just continue on with the same offer here. What we'll do is we'll create a tracking ID, and let's say you were going to buy a solo ad from me, right? The way this works is anytime you run a traffic source, the best thing to do is to abbreviate that traffic source in the first part of the tracking ID. And just like Winter is saying, it's very important, never put any slashes, dashes, or spaces in your tracking IDs. It's extremely important that you do not use those characters because they will mess things up for you. In fact, I'll even show you how they mess things up after we do this. So let's say you're going to buy a solo ad from me. The way I would structure my tracking ID would be CL for Corey Lewis, and then a 4-digit date code for the date that the ad is supposed to go out. Let's say you bought one from me and it was supposed to go out today. And I would do 0721, okay? And then the other thing that you could do if you really wanted, just for your own reference, is you could add to the end of the tracking ID like an abbreviation for the product. So IPP in this case. And again, that's optional. And you can do these, you can structure these tracking IDs any way you want to, but it is extremely important, first of all, no dashes, no slashes, and no spaces, okay? And if you're going to use any other method of coming up with tracking IDs, then it's a good idea that you have them written down, or that somewhere in your mind you have an idea of, okay, this tracking ID corresponds to this campaign that I'm running, okay? So just want to make sure that that's clear. So now if we hit create link, then you'll see it creates the tracking link for us. And then you can actually just click on it if you want, and it'll open up in a new window to the squeeze page, okay? And now I want to just quickly show you what's really cool about this, and one of the details of how this whole system works is it actually takes your username and it drops it into the ad tracking value of Aweber. And I know you're looking at this and probably thinking, whoa, what's all this code you're showing me here? But the reason why we do that is because this little ad tracking value that is tagged with your AFCOM username, this gets passed back into the follow-up sequence. And that way, every time one of your new subscribers gets one of those follow-up emails, if they decide to buy, then you get credit for it. That's the way that the whole follow-up sequence is designed. And we're kind of jumping out of order here because this is stuff I was going to show later on in the webinar, but it does need to be shown to you a couple of times in order for you to really understand how all this stuff works. So you were saying, Winter, that we want to see, or that they want to know when you would use a squeeze page versus a sales page. Is that right? But basically, here's the deal. Anytime you're running any type of traffic, you want to run that traffic. And when I say run traffic, I mean whether you're going to be, first of all, the traffic providers that we have in the directory, those are our most prized, our most, coveted traffic sources. Those are people that we would never share. Really, a lot of people have even asked us, hey, who do you get, solo ads from and stuff like that. Those are some of the cream of the crop folks that we have gotten traffic from. And really the basic gist is anytime you're running traffic, whether it be from them or whether it be from another source, like article marketing or some other sort of, traffic generation, then you want to focus on driving traffic into a squeeze page. And the reason is because that is what gives you your leverage. You want to focus on getting people onto your list, right? And now you would generate, what you would do is you would actually go in and generate a sales page campaign for when you're mailing out to your list, right? And we actually mentioned that up here in the videos, or in this particular video up here, but basically the idea is that you want to generate a sales page link, because if the person is already on your list, you don't want to send them again through another squeeze page. That wouldn't make sense, right? They're already on your list, and what you want to do is you just want to promote a product and have them purchase that. So that's the difference between when you would use a sales page or a sales letter link and when you would use a squeeze page link. I hope that makes sense. That pretty much takes care of the AFCOM Advantage slide. That's really about all I had planned for that particular slide. So Robert's asking about costs of solo ads and 30 cents a click and so on. Basically, one of the things that we're going to be planning on doing, and this is something we actually have mentioned later on in the webinar, is we're going to be adding some less expensive solo ad providers into the list so that you can kind of get the ball rolling and get a feel for how all this sort of stuff works without, dropping a huge chunk of change. James is asking, get solo ads from where? So what we've done here, James, is we've actually, in the AFCOM system, if you go to traffic, then what we've got in here is we've got a whole bunch, about 20 different, actually 21 different high-quality solo ad providers, people that we've worked with in the past who have done solo ads for us. They've mailed out for us, and we've done well enough with those solos that we felt comfortable referring them to you. Then the other thing we've got is we've got this button down here, which is the big emailers, and now these are mostly like quote-unquote real companies that have opt-in lists that will mail out for you, okay? So you really want to, this is like the next level right here. These are all places that you really don't want to go there and cut your teeth on. You want to kind of cut your teeth on some of these other, solo ad providers that more or less operate on Skype. But once you get a feel for how all this works and you're comfortable and you sort of have figured out your numbers, then you can go to some of these bigger solo ad providers here, some of these big emailers, and you can really see some insane results from getting some of these, from basically placing ads with some of these guys. And like I briefly mentioned, we're going to be putting some smaller solo ad providers in here too, so that you can get a feel for, how all this stuff works without spending a whole lot. So,
and Corey, does my microphone sound better now? Can you hear me now?
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
It's just not working very well tonight, I guess.
I think you just need to put the microphone closer to your mouth.
Well, it might as well be in my mouth otherwise.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next slide here. We're going to go through a complete setup walkthrough here, okay? We're going to show you exactly how to go through the 3-step setup process, how to go in and pick out a campaign to run, how to come up with a TID or a tracking ID, okay, how to go in and pick out a traffic provider to run an ad with, and then we're going to show you exactly what you need to give that traffic provider so that you guys have a successful run at all this, okay? So, give me just a second here. So we'll go ahead and pull up the old AFCOM site again. And give me just a second to pull up the, well actually I won't move that off the screen. What we'll do is at the very bottom of the site, there's the reinitiate setup link. Now, the reinitiate setup link runs you back through the entire setup process, okay? Now, in this case, I'll go ahead and type in my affiliate ID for ClickBank, which is also, and I guess this is a little bit of a point of confusion, is your ClickBank affiliate ID is the same thing as your ClickBank username. So if you don't have a ClickBank username, then you definitely need to get one, because, I mean, everybody has one and everybody uses it, but you basically go to clickbank.com and you click on sign up. And then the username that you make up right here is what you want to plug into the AFCOM system. So right here, this is where you make up your username. Whatever you type in here is what you want to type in here, okay? So in my case, it's actually EasyTech1. And now your PayPal address, that's actually optional. And you really, if you don't have a PayPal address, you don't need to worry about it. If you do have a PayPal address, you can type it in there if you want, but really we're not utilizing that at the moment. In the future, we may, for some things that we have that we may possibly roll out, but at the moment, you really don't need to worry about it. Really, this is the main thing that you need to worry about, is having your ClickBank ID, which, again, we're always going to refer to it as your ClickBank ID, but it's your username that you use to log into ClickBank. So I hope that's clear. Okay.
And guys, really quickly, I've just seen a couple of questions that we have a little gift to give you guys later on, and it's gonna actually answer some of these questions. So we'll address that in a couple of minutes, but there is a little goodie for the end of the break here. So yeah, if we can just watch Corey send through all the setups. I know a lot of people have already covered this. There's a couple of you that haven't, so just take a couple minutes to cover this, and yeah, awesome. Thank you, Corey. Sorry to interrupt, man.
No worries. Courtney's saying, my username defaulted to my email address. Do I go to ClickBank to reset it? Your ClickBank username cannot be your email address, so I'm a little confused by what you're asking there. What you want to do is go to ClickBank and just make absolutely sure that you've got the right username and that you plug it in right here. And now if for some reason you type in the wrong thing here and you hit save, okay, then that can be changed up here in the settings. So in the settings menu, you can actually change all this sort of stuff if you want to, okay? So in this case, I'll just go back and continue with step 1. So step 1, make sure your ClickBank ID is typed in, then hit save, and that moves you right on to step 2. Now, step 2, and I realize that if this is your first experience with email and with a service called Aweber and with just the whole idea of building your own email list, it's kind of funny because, you know, I've been doing this since 2007 and Winter's been doing it for a year and a half. We thought everybody, in a way, was familiar with Aweber, but that's certainly not the case, and we're glad to see that because it, you know, gives us something to teach you guys here. So the situation is with Aweber. Now this video up here, it does actually show you in what I thought was pretty good detail how to go and get your list name and your form ID. But what we'll do is we'll just quickly run you through that here live on the webinar. So what I've got is I've got Aweber pulled right up, okay, and now this is an account that I like to show, or that I like to use with a lot of demonstrations. The way you create, or the way